An illegitimate government is one that lacks the consent and support of the people it governs. Here are some telltale characteristics. An illegitimate government ignores the will of the people and rules without their consent. Such a government rigs elections, suppresses opposition, and fails to represent the interests of the people. An illegitimate government flouts the law to consolidate power. It ignores legal checks on its authority, changes laws to favor itself, or it rules by decree rather than through proper legal channels. An illegitimate government holds sham elections, restricts political rights and freedoms, or simply refuses to relinquish power when voted out of office. An illegitimate government serves the narrow interests of elites, corporations, or foreign powers. It enacts policies that benefit its patrons at the expense of the common good. To maintain power, an illegitimate government rigs elections through voter suppression, gerrymandering, ballot tampering, or outright fraud to ensure its preferred candidates win. An illegitimate government cracks down on political opposition, using tactics like jailing dissidents, banning opposition parties, or violently suppressing protests. An illegitimate government censors the media, harasses journalists, or spreads disinformation to control the narrative and prevent criticism. An illegitimate government consolidates power in the executive branch while weakening checks and balances. It changes laws or constitutions to expand its authority. An illegitimate government uses a combination of rewards for loyalty, such as jobs, contracts, etc., and punishments for dissent, meting out threats and violence, to compel obedience from the populace. An illegitimate government depends heavily on the military, police, and intelligence services to maintain control. It purges and punishes disloyal elements and protects loyalists. An illegitimate government exacerbates ethnic, religious, or regional tensions to distract from its lack of legitimacy and portrays itself as the only bulwark against chaos. It always declares itself as the savior from an impending disaster. An illegitimate government seeks support from other authoritarian states or powerful interests to bolster its position, even if it contradicts the will of its own people. An illegitimate government employs various tactics to manipulate public opinion and maintain control over the populace. These tactics often involve disinformation, censorship, and psychological strategies that exploit social dynamics. An illegitimate government spreads false information or misleading narratives to shape public perceptions. This includes the use of fake news and propaganda to create confusion and distrust among citizens, undermining the credibility of legitimate and alternative sources of information. An illegitimate government utilizes computational propaganda on social media platforms to target specific demographics with tailored messages. This can involve creating fake accounts to amplify certain viewpoints, spreading divisive content, or even orchestrating campaigns that falsely portray public sentiment. Controlling the media landscape is crucial for an illegitimate government. It censors independent media outlets, suppresses dissenting voices, and promotes state-controlled media that aligns with its narratives. This ensures that the public is exposed primarily to information that supports the government's agenda. An illegitimate government employs psychological tactics to manipulate public opinion. This includes creating a sense of fear or urgency around specific issues, which can lead to increased support for authoritarian measures. It also exploits existing societal divisions to foster polarization, making it harder for opposition movements to gain traction. By intimidating or silencing critics, through harassment, imprisonment, or violence, an illegitimate government deters opposition and creates an environment where dissent is viewed as dangerous. This suppression helps maintain a facade of stability and support for the regime. An illegitimate government manipulates cultural narratives to resonate with nationalistic sentiments or historical grievances. By framing its actions as protective of national interests and righting perceived grievances, it can garner support from segments of the population that feel threatened by change or external influences. And finally, an illegitimate government uses disinformation, media control, psychological manipulation, and suppression of dissent to shape public opinion and maintain its grip on power. These tactics not only distort the truth but create an environment where genuine democratic discourse dies, so that only government-approved narratives are thus affirmed. So, what kind of a government do you live under?